Both of the bitches are finally back, motherfuckers. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we're here with episode 2 of New Panty and Stocking. And so, last time I had to get used to the fact that we're going to have new VAs for everyone. This was something that was really concerning me and really bothering me, and that's why I wanted to do it as a first impression to start off with, just in case. Because, like I said, the voice actors in the original season were, like, part of the iconic reason why this series worked so well. The humor, the writing, all of that's great. But the voice acting in the original, for the dub specifically, elevated it to such a height that it's not the same in the sub. It's because of Jamie Marchi and Monica Rial's performances as Panty and Stocking, respectively. And specifically them. It's like the other ones, for the most part, you can take it or leave it. And like I said before, like, with episode 1, I didn't even really notice much of a difference with brief scanny or knee socks. I definitely noticed the difference with garter belt. But I also do like the fact that he is being portrayed by a black voice actor now. I think that's a really good decision. So I'm okay with his voice change. And honestly, Panty's voice change, not super noticeable. Like, I think the new VA is doing a great job for Panty and definitely living up to the original. But from at least a little bit we heard of Stocking in episode 1, not counting when she was, a kaiju and growling and shit, it's very different. And again, I want to make very clear, I love Christina Valenzuela. She is a phenomenal voice actress, one of my favorites. But it's such a different voice than Monica Rial. And I just wish that she did her Ebisu voice instead. Her voice, the same voice that she did for Ebisu from Dorohedoro would have been perfect. It still wouldn't have been the same, but it would have been a lot better than the more higher pitched voice she's doing. I don't know. It's very jarring, and it's the one thing that I'm not quite over yet. And I'll admit, it's going to take me some time. But like I said, the humor is there, the animation is better than ever, and it seems to be actually more uncensored than before. And I actually found out since we did episode 1 last week that apparently there is a censored version. There's an uncensored and a censored version of this season. And I guess we are lucky to have the uncensored version through Amazon Prime and everything, through these files we've gotten. I think the uncensored one is on Amazon Prime, and I think the censored one is it on Crunchyroll or something? I don't know. It's on some other platform or something. But we're getting the Amazon Prime ones, which is good because we want uncensored. We want it to be in all of its glory. And yeah, the first episode surprised me with that. Like, I mean, outside of just the general plot and the general shenanigans, it's like, it got pretty risky there. Like, riskier than normal, I mean, for this series. Because, like, with the entire, like, putting Panty together again, and then, like, the one block that was still missing being her pussy, and the pussy not being in any great detail, of course, but the block actually showing the opening of that, the line opening of it. Again, very small, very little details. It wasn't, like, extremely graphic or anything, but it really didn't hold back as much as you would think. It was actually a lot more explicit than I expected. But not as much that would actually make it, like, too terrible. Plus, with the series being, like, an active satire, does kind of help it a little bit, too. Of course, Amazon Prime also just doesn't give a shit. So, but yeah, so we got Panty back. Scanny and Esox are going to continue living with our girls, and I guess we still have what's his face, the Demon King as our main villain, at least until we get something else. But I'm excited to see where this goes because even with my issue with Stocking's voice being a little off from what I like, kind of almost expect to hear with the character's design and all at this point, it's like I still the performance is still good, and I still like pretty much everything else about what we got. So, um, I'm I'm just excited to see more, and I'm excited to see the opening because I haven't seen the opening yet. It wasn't in the first episode, so I'm excited to see what we get for that because the first season's opening was very much just it repeated Panty and Stocking's names over and over again. And that was kind of the joke. It was kind of playing off of American cartoon openings that are a lot more simplistic than a lot of Japanese anime. With obviously exceptions here and there on both sides, but it was kind of playing off that idea. And I thought like that was a cute, fun concept. So I wonder what they're going to do for season 2 now, especially with, a different studio. Well, a different studio is localizing it. That doesn't count. Okay, so Trigger, I think, is still just behind it overall. It's just a different localization team, basically. But either way, I'm still interested to see how different they end up going for it. But let's just get to it and find out. So, yeah. Let's go. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So I looked things up, and the card game ghost was Kellen Goff, who was shown in the credits as additional voices. For those who don't know, he's Rekka in Fire Force, Blue Gilly in One Piece, and many other roles. Overhaul in My Hero Academia, etc., etc., etc. He's become in like the past 8 years or so, he's become a pretty big mainstay in the world of dubbed voice acting. So yeah, he's done a good share of roles at this point. And he had a fun little role in this one. So let's talk about the 2 segments of this episode. After the first episode was a double length, basically. We're back to having segmented episodes for the foreseeable future, just moving forward. And our 2 segments here are pretty interesting. So the first segment is focused on Panty and Stocking versus Scanny and Esox in order to, take out a ghost and get a coin. It's just kind of becoming a competition for them now that they're living together. Scanny and Esox are, I guess, kind of acting as like almost maids in the tower, which is like pretty hot, honestly. And yeah, it's just a fun little addition having them be part of the main cast now, rather than just recurring characters. And so we see them like get the clues to the ghost, water and oil. They go to this diner that Briefs is working at, and eventually within the kitchen they combine water and oil and the ghosts end up coming out. They work together to defeat the ghosts, and all is good. Yeah, it's it's really good, but it wasn't anything special. It was just an episode to like just really kick us off into things now that Panty and Stocking are both back. And we're kind of going back into, at least for the time being, the status quo. We found out what the entire cliffhanger at the end of episode 1 was with the Demon King. Wasn't anything like suspicious, just Garterbelt was contracted by the Demon King to deal with shit. And Scanny and Nisox are kind of banned from hell for now, so that's fun. Um, and we're at this point just kind of like getting things really started with the season. So the second segment here was obviously kind of playing on both Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic the Gathering, kind of combining them into like one card game while also having it be centered around like weird uncles and everything. The Blue Eyes White Uncle, outside of that just being fucking stupid and hilarious, is also like the design has to be intentionally looking like a character from the Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack, because I just feel like it's too obvious. It's too very clearly like designed to look like a character from that. But if it is somehow unintentional, that's just a weird coincidence. And this episode definitely showed the entire aspect of this being uncensored, because wow, we saw a surprising amount of dick. Uncensored creepy Uncle Dick. It was not exactly the dick I want to see, but it's the dick we got. You know? It was just flopping around there. Also, dude just shoved this drill dough up his ass and climaxed from it. And it's just like, what the fuck? It's like, okay, yeah, I guess they weren't kidding about the entire uncensored part. Wow. That was a thing I just witnessed. And I feel like they probably did that specifically for this because of the idea, the joke of like Yu-Gi-Oh! And whatnot being a children's card game and everything. So they made this like as creepy and graphic as possible to kind of play on that idea. But it's just like, what the fuck? What the actual fuck? Also, Nisox works at the hobby shop, apparently. That's a thing. So I mentioned this in the reaction briefly. I cannot speak. Briefly. But I want to actually go into this a little bit. So, I grew up playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic the Gathering. More Yu-Gi-Oh! Than Magic, but I did play both. And I went to a lot of those hobby shop game tournaments. I would participate in those pretty much weekly for a good long time. And I really enjoyed them. Sometimes I would do well, sometimes I would be very much not doing well. I don't think I might have won once, like for a smaller tournament, but I never like won consistently. I wasn't that great. Because I played more for fun. I was never like super competitive about it. I also am not like the most strategically minded person, so I was never great at like getting all the strategies down. But I had fun, and I've played with a multitude of different types of decks. I played with an Elemental Hero deck at one point. I played with a Red Eyes themed deck at one point. I think I did an Ancient Gear deck once. I think. But the point is, I've played with a multitude of different decks for Yu-Gi-Oh! But eventually I kind of just fell out of it. And I think part of the reason is because it's just like, it started getting a little too complicated. And I've seen some of the stuff the cards have now, and it's like, Jesus. They started adding in like a whole bunch of different types of cards and monsters and different types of abilities that were just like, it was becoming like way too complicated to the point where it stopped being as fun. And it's like, they really didn't need to do that. They could have just kept the same things and just did different like archetypes and whatnot. Oh, that's another one I did a deck for, Archfiends. Just reminded me of that. But it's just, I don't know. I just feel like it became a bit too much for me personally. I probably wouldn't be able to get into it as it is now. Like, even if I found a place near me that had tournaments, I would not be able to keep up with all the new shit that's happened in, like, God, how long has it been for me? Like, a decade and a half, maybe? Maybe not quite decade and a half, but close enough, too. Probably right around there. It's been quite a long time. Like, I was in high school. I stopped playing in high school. And Magic the Gathering, I I played more in college. I dabbled a little bit in high school, but I played more when I was in college for the brief time that I was. Um, I played mostly blue and red, but I played a couple other types of decks too. I did a green and white at one point. Um, I had fun with it, but I never got like super into it as much as I did with Yu-Gi-Oh back in the day. But I enjoyed both of them nonetheless. So it's like this also had some fun in it. I think Kellen Goff, when he like was first cloaked, when the ghost was first in the cloak and everything, was trying to do a little bit of a Pegasus voice, because it really did sound a little bit like him. It wasn't exactly the same, but I think it was supposed to be a little bit of an impersonation there, um, which is pretty fun. That's pretty fun. I did watch the Yu-Gi-Oh shows up to 5Ds. I kind of lost completely track of all of them after that, but GX is the best. Just gonna put that out there. GX is the best with Jaden and Ubel and all of that. It was so good. Also, I just really like Elemental Heroes. I always like the Elemental Heroes. Of course, I've always been into superheroes, so that's probably why. Either way, I'm getting off track. Um, but yeah, this second one got like a lot more graphic. But neither of these episodes got like super graphic with the girls in it. Like, I think the most graphic was the transformation sequence in the first of these two segments. Um, which I think was like made a little more graphic than it was in the original season. I might be wrong because it's been a little bit, but the way like when like they're rubbing over themselves and everything during that, it looks like it looked to me like there was more animation put into that. I'll put it that way. Specifically, the moment where like Panty was like rubbing her hands past her breasts, there was more texture to that than I think there was in the original season. Which, I mean, all the art and animation has improved for the season, so it wouldn't surprise me. Plus, with it being, let's be honest, more explicit and uncensored than season one was, I think they're just like really kind of going all out for that in a lot of ways. And I mean, for a series like this, it works. Like, some people might find it to be a bit too much. Some people might find it to be like just needless. And there's some people who even say like, oh, well, this is pretty much just porn at this point. And it's like, that's the joke. That's entirely the joke. Um, and I would still consider it like ecchi. I wouldn't consider this straight up porn, or hentai, I guess. It never goes that far. And it makes a point of never going that far. Though this episode did kind of push the boundaries with that a little bit. But it's like ecchi will show nudity. So it's like that's not entirely surprising. With it being on Amazon Prime, it's like they're willing to do anything, I think. they're not shy about like going the extra mile. Um so yeah, it's like I feel like for this series specifically it does work. It is fitting and it just makes sense with the satire they're trying to go with. Um I'm definitely interested to continue seeing where this is going. I'm enjoying myself immensely so far. And yeah, this I have to touch on this. This will be the last thing I touch on here. Um it made it really apparent with this episode now that like we're hearing stalking talk more. I really I'm going to I'm gonna try to ignore it from here on out because I don't want to just keep saying it every episode, you know. But it is so aggressively noticeable how different it is, and it's too high pitched. That's my only issue. That it's too high pitched. Um, Go search on YouTube for like, or I guess if you want to just find the series on Netflix, go search up the dub for Dorohedoro and look up the dub clips specifically for the character of Ebisu. She's also voiced by Christina Valenzuela. That voice would have been better. It's not as high pitched. It's more kind of in Stocking's wheelhouse of like the original dub voice by Monica Rial, but obviously it's not Monica Rial still, but it's closer to the vibes that I feel like make sense for the character. It's just a little too high pitched here. And the entire fact that they keep saying like repent bitches instead of repent motherfuckers is weird to me. I wonder why they changed that. Um, because it's like that was the line in the first one. That was like the line, the quote. It feels weird to change that of all things. Especially when they have no problem dropping f bombs. That's not an issue. I don't know. I wonder if I can find out uh, why they changed that. But either way, for now, tell me your thoughts down in the comments below. I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.